What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Remember, y'all, rent is due. But that's not the title of this joint. Different ethnic groups simply have different beauty standards. And, you know, I had talked about this a few weeks ago and stuff because of that notion that beauty standards are objective. And I explained why. And, you know, some people try to argue against it and stuff, saying, well, most people think this person looks good or something. I say, okay, but 1 + 1 is 2, regardless of the culture. Look, here's the thing. Any objective or subjective opinion, if you have to try to rationalize something saying it's objective, it's not. It's evident. It's math. You could argue any math equation all you want, but it's still going to come out the same thing. That's objective. But anyway, that wasn't the thing that even motivated me to do this particular video. Oh, man. Did back today. Yeah. Let's see. I don't know if y'all can see it. I mean, definite striations in the arm, but I'm noticing I'm getting veins popping out when I used to. Yeah. I didn't even have veins popping out when I was in my 20s. But anyway, right? Here's the whole thing. I was thinking, I was inspired to do this because I watch a little bit of TV if I have absolutely nothing to do. And plus, usually in the evenings, man, after like working out and doing videos, hanging out with my sons and everything, I don't really feel like doing anything in the evening and stuff. I don't feel like doing anything. So every now and then I'll chop it up with a buddy or something, lady friend, but I don't really feel like doing much. So I wasn't sleepy either. So I was watching, I saw a couple things on Netflix yesterday. Netflix. One, I just watched it for a couple minutes. I was like, it's not grabbing me. And then another, I had been watching it anyway, but really got into the series. Now, the thing I just watched for a few minutes was called Welcome to Eden. Welcome to Eden, and it's something out of Spain. Incidentally, when I do watch Netflix, I love that stuff from overseas. Better stories. As a writer, I like the better stories. So, anyway, I checked that out for a few minutes. I was like, well, nah, it don't seem, it's not grabbing me. Not grabbing me. But then, wait, hold on for a second. All right. Had to shout at somebody. I'm getting to the point I ain't even gonna bother recording people. Some people here know I got the YouTube channel, so I say, shoot, I better not even record somebody's voice or something. But anyway, right? So that was one show. It was one show I was checking out. The one for a few minutes was called Welcome to Eden. It was out of Spain. All right, looking at it. But then when I watched the whole, finished the whole series, this is a 6-episode series. And I started watching it anyway, but I finished it up yesterday. It's called Savage Beauty. Now, Welcome to Eden, that's based out of Spain. That's based out of Spain, or at least they using, they speak in European Spanish. I didn't really go through the credits to see where it's from. The Savage Beauty is out of South Africa. South Africa. Okay. And then, I peeped something very simple. It's very simple. Like, on Welcome to Eden, there's supposed to be all these, like, beautiful women and stuff. And that's one of the things that turned me off, because the first one they showed, and they were showing in some advertisements for it, little trailer. I was like, she need a cheeseburger. I was like, damn, they look awfully boyish. I'm like, damn, where the curves at? And stuff, because when we talk about beauty, a lot of people try to focus just on the face, but what's the purpose of beauty? Optimal physical form, period. You got to look at the whole package, not just the face and stuff. And I'm gonna get into why all that's important anyway. But then I was watching the one from South Africa. Oh yeah, the women on there, man. Shit, they were built. They nice, got that nice shapely thickness and stuff. It's like, shout out O'Shea Duke Jackson, because that's in Africa in general, with African women in general. In general, he was talking about the women in Uganda. He said, shoot, a big fat round ass there is like normal. In fact, I got a couple of Ugandan women that follow me. I like the picture every time they they come across my timeline. They get thank you from me when they like one of my stuff. But I was thinking about it, because, you know, one thing about me, I really actually have a problem with relaxing. I might see me joking and stuff on here, and I can joke around, but this business. So even when I'm having fun, the serious side of Rom, Professor Rom, going analyzing mode and stuff, I was like, well, wait a minute. These women considered beautiful for a European audience. Well, they didn't have any shape. You know, slim. Looked like they serious, like you needed to take them to one of those fattening camps. I believe that's what it's called, what they have in Nigeria. Put some like curves on them or something. I believe it. Anybody from Nigeria, tell me what they called exactly. Meanwhile, the other one, I was like, dun, dun. You know, they ain't gonna hold it. You know, they're gonna hold them up as beautiful. But I was thinking about the women they had on Savage Beauty. Let's just be real. If they were in a predominantly white country, you get some people calling them fat. And I'm like, even though they had figure eights, generally figure eights. Even had a lesbian character on the Savage Beauty. I was like, well, damn, she dressed in loose clothing, but they tighten her up, son. Yeah. And you know, and I was thinking about that. I was like, well, this should be evident. Just different people, different groups of people have different beauty standards. You know? Because if you really think about it, sometimes you get some people, they try to make it scientific, but ultimately, what does beauty do? You know, ultimately, if you're talking about it within humans. Now, real quick, somebody will say, well, maybe some art is beautiful, but even then, that's still eye of the beholder and everything. And let's be real, even when we talk about it, it's still a cultural thing and stuff that go into it. But it all comes down to DNA. If you look at ethnic groups, you notice I didn't necessarily say, I threw out race a little bit, but really within each racial group, you got several ethnic groups. Ethnic groups ultimately build from families. They build from families. In fact, like if you trace some ethnic groups, you can find they'll go down to like only a few people, a few women, the wombs of women and stuff. Incidentally, let me get metaphysical wrong real quick. That's why women actually need to be careful whose seeds they gestate and, you know, bring to well, nurture rather. Let me put it like that, because they potentially the mother of a nation. And then fathers, well, Genghis Khan is the father of several nations. But it comes down to the DNA and stuff. But see, that's individualized. Whereas, you know, with one ethnic group, you know, one European ethnic group featured in Spain might like them a little slimmer. You know, I've seen some nice thick Irish. And I mean, you know, and even in Africa, you know, West Africans might be stockier and curvier, but you go to East Africa, there's a tendency to be slimmer. You can see that in the male athletes. Those distance runners from Kenya, Ethiopia, tend to be slimmer and everything. They be dominating. That's their body type. But then you get those sprinters and, you know, more thicker muscled men, especially in Nigeria, Ghana, you know, Congo, Cameroon, the Gambia. Shoot, they tend to be a different, you know, stockier, thicker, more muscled body build. But that's an ethnic group thing. You know, and I said that before. That's why there's a tendency for people to mate within their physical tribe, even if they don't realize it, or they, let's put it like this, DNA tribe. Now, it's hard to tell in places in many Western countries, like in the United States, most people got some racial mixture, so it's hard to tell here, including probably, I forgot what the number was. I knew in the 90s the number of whites, people who classify themselves as white, who actually had some black blood, was figured to be around 28 million. That was the 90s, so it's probably higher now. But here's the thing. That goes down to the DNA. That's more individualized. Even the cultures that grow from that, you know, even the cultural practices and stuff. I mean, it's get deep. Almost like almost needed to make this professor wrong. But the thing is, it's just different standards, and it's nothing wrong with it. That's why we have a variety of people in the world. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But, you know, when you get some people thinking, oh, it's just one thing, well, maybe if you live in a certain region and you around predominantly the same ethnic group, oh, yeah, maybe. But if you in some other region, some other country or something, and you go down just to the mere biology of it, they'd be like, hey, whatever. Like even a height thing. I told you, I used to live with this Japanese young lady, and I did not forget. Now, you know, with some shoes on, I can get to 6 feet, but, you know, I ain't over 6 feet normally. You know, with some shoes on, I can get there. But barefoot in the morning and stuff, 5'11", a little bit above 5'11", just a tiny bit and stuff. And that's in the morning. Just real quick with height, a person's height, if you're going to measure your height, best time is like early in the morning. I actually had one of those things to measure height. It's in storage right now, but I was using it to measure my sons. You got to get them in the morning, because the thing with that is, and this is just a real quick because everybody's still on height, during the day, just on a normal course, you'll lose maybe, you know, up to a centimeter, maybe a half an inch just during the day, just from gravity and everything, and then just not standing up straight. But that's just normal. That's just as an aside. But getting back to how I even got to that point, you know, she said, yeah, if I came over to Japan and stuff, they would see me as a giant. And, you know, but it's just different ethnic groups. You know, some people, and I've said this 1,000 times, I'll argue with somebody in person in front of a live audience. Anybody trying to say their particular standard or whatever they think is a universal standard, no. No, that's cultural chauvinism. Like, if you get some Africans, South Africans, not Afrikaners, but South Africans and stuff, they might be like, if they had no beauty contest or something, they'd be like, oh yeah, she got him, you know, thick and all of that. But if they were to say, well, this is the standard we got to use in Northern Europe, you know, and shoot. And that's all over the world. Shoot, there's some cultures, you know, having some even more weight on you is like normalized. And it depends, because that DNA thing, that's why you get a lot of groups that can remain very homogenous. They tend to look similar, like Ethiopians. And they don't mate out that much. They don't mate out. Not saying that much. There's always a crossover, but, or at least the ones that, you know, we see in Western culture tend to stay within their group. They tend to look alike. So their standard is going to be slightly different from someone else. And here's the thing with it. It's not no right or wrong, or someone's better or anything. It's just different. Like even with body types. That's why I say with body game, just find your best type. You know? And incidentally, if you start paying attention to different groups, you can actually peep out different body types. And of course, as a whole thing, you're always going to have an exception. Because even in, you know, I was talking about South African women, there's going to be some slim women down there, of course. But if we talk about in general, and that's probably even a deeper conversation, you're going to see the similarities in everything. And different groups simply just going to have different standards. And, you know, somebody say, why are you staying on it? I stay on everything, man. Because, see, my thing is this. I'll talk about stuff because a lot of times what I find is this. People ask me, or, you know, you get some people saying, well, I'm not like this and these women don't like me. Depends on where you at. Now, y'all see me, you know, big, swole dude and stuff. I've had on several occasions women say I need to put on weight. I was like, what? You know? I mean, but then I peeped where they were from, primarily the Caribbean, you know? And I didn't know that was a style down there, but, you know, they would just used to bigger men. You know, some West African women. They were like, hey, you know. But then if I go certain areas, they'd be like, oh, Ron, you all big. You need to lose some weight. I'm like, you know, that's why I don't, you know, seriously. That's why ultimately I say just get comfortable. Get comfortable. Get comfortable where you at, and then see where you at. Because, yeah, I can even break that down further. Depending, like in the United States, yeah, we see, you know, getting Big Mama's Sunday meal and stuff in the South. You know, they might be built a bit different than they are in like New York or like Minnesota. And, you know, that's just among the black population. And even then, there could be some differences. I gotta do somewhere. Somebody that asked me too about different groups within the black community. They're very well documented. I mean, only definite. I mean, there's a definite difference with who the group could you know, consensusly known as the Boule, but that's technically a fraternity. But, you know, generally you used to talk about upper middle class blacks, like long money, you know, old money blacks, but they go back a long way, and they'll look a certain way. But then you got Louisiana Creole and stuff, which man, that's my father's side of the family. And then you got like Gullah on the East Coast, like the Carolinas, and if you start looking, you're just like, oh, wait a minute, you know, and it's just different. You know, ultimately, just I would say this: stop thinking something is universal or you have to be that. You know, just figure out, okay, who's gonna like what I look like, who feeling what I got. You know, because at the end of the day, every group want to have a different. They're gonna have a different look, phenotype. Shit, even get down to like what diseases they'll be susceptible to. Seriously, that's how deep it is. That's how deep it is. So, anyway, that's all I got for now, yo. I'm going ahead and get some vittles. Yeah. Get something to eat. Yeah. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.